What's up, guys? It's Dominique, aka that therapist. I know y'all been missing me for a couple of weeks. I've been missing y'all too. But it has been very, very, very busy. But I am back now, and we're back on a regular schedule. So I will actually, I know those of you that are in the newsletter, it said that I was supposed to do a live on the holiday grief and stuff. So I am still going to do that. I'd like to do it at some point this weekend. So I'll be going live with that. And I'll try to make it fun and do a little bit extra for that, because I still do want to do that. Make sure that y'all are okay and prepared for your mental health and how it could be impacted by the holiday season. So I'm not going to forget about that. Definitely not have it before Thanksgiving, so you guys can really have time to prepare. I know we did talk about it briefly last month, but I did want to do something more in depth. Sorry, I'm trying to get my phone to stand up for that. But for those of you that don't know me, I am Dominique, aka that therapist. I'm the lead clinician and CEO for a group practice known as Yellow Bird Counseling. You may have seen my ads around. You may have seen me around with my cool t-shirts and my cool therapist wearing the cool t-shirts. You may have seen that. So yeah, that's me. What do we do? What does Yellow Bird Counseling do? Well, our normal day-to-day operations include providing individual, family, couples, group therapy or counseling, because we know they're different, in the states of Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, New Jersey, and Idaho. Soon, with many, many more states to come. Myself and a few other of my clinicians will have a multi-state compact that we will be getting, and that will enable us, that will enable us to be able to provide services to more states. So that will be coming soon. I'm super excited. For those of you in different states that are like, I wish you were here. Can you come here? Will you make one here? Well, that is about to become a reality very, very soon. So be sure that you share us out to your friends and family in your other states, because that compact should include at least 25 states. So definitely be sure that you're sharing that out. And this is so we can help more people, and maybe help your cousin or your uncle or your aunt that lives in Missouri, okay, or lives in Tennessee, or lives in Ohio, or lives in Colorado. You may have people that live in other states that can't find the therapist that they need, and we may have what they need with our therapist that will have that multi-state compact license, okay? So that's what we do. What do we do here on Thursday evenings? Well, we go live and we discuss we discuss topics that the general population can relate to, and tie it back to how we all, including myself, could use therapy, and how we could all benefit from having a therapist outside of simply just having a mental illness. Now, while I do have anxiety and depression that is very well managed, that's not really what I'm going to therapy for right now. I'm going to therapy for more counseling things, so more life things that happen, So if you lose a loved one, you might go to grief counseling, or like if you need help with guidance on how to transition in a major life change, you can come see us for that. It doesn't just have to be if you have a mental illness, but I have my therapist on hand. So if I do have mental health issues, that she can also help me with that, whilst also helping me with just, normal day-to-day life, that we all experience. So I like to try to hit more on those normal day-to-day things, and that's in an effort to break the stigma that surrounds mental health and wellness that many of you or many of your friends and family members have. And that's why they don't come see us, because they're scared that means that their brain is broken, or that they're what we used to say in the old days, oh my God, insane in the membrane. Insane ain't got no brain. No, that's not what it means. That's not at all what it means. Okay. So definitely be sure you're sharing. Please share this live. This is very, very important to me. Okay. As a cisgender woman, I have a cisgender LGBTQ woman, which just means that my assigned sex at birth and my gender align. So I was assigned female at birth and I identify as woman, so they align. But there are some people that are assigned sex at birth was woman, but they don't, or I mean female, but they do not identify as woman or girl. They identify as boy or man, so they would be transgender. Okay. So that's all that means. Cisgender means you're assigned sex at birth, male or female. Those would be the used or intersex, but more commonly male or female, is aligned with your social identity, which is your gender, and that is either man, woman, or non-binary. But to keep it something that we can all digest to bring awareness, we'll say man, woman, and non-binary. Okay, and those would be the main three, but there are others. So I wanted to make sure I brought awareness there, because I literally, y'all, as I was setting up this live, I was in another live that didn't have anything on TikTok. Because, y'all, I can go live on TikTok now, and I will be doing that tonight. After I get off of here, it's going to be way more laid back. I mean, I'm already obviously pretty darn laid back. But you know what I'm saying? We'll be talking a little bit more. I'll be talking a little bit more like relaxed, if you know what I mean, over there. So it's an 18 or older space. It'll be 18 or older space, but you can follow me on TikTok, because now I do have live privileges over there. And it's that_therapist1. So that_therapist1. And I'm, trying to gain my live privileges over there. So it's going to be a little, a lot of impromptu stuff. Y'all get to see more behind the scenes, kind of how I'm living and all that kind of stuff. But definitely join me over there. Follow me over there. See what I kind of do over there, what it's like over there on TikTok, if you're on TikTok. But the live was not even about LGBTQ, none of that. It wasn't about transgender individuals. It wasn't about none of that. It was about something else. But it seems like on TikTok, the LGBTQ community be in folks' mouths a lot over there that aren't in the community. And I don't know if that's because there's just so much more awareness posed on TikTok, and just so much more information. And so many more people that are very intelligent on there, that are sharing a lot of intellectual knowledge. And I guess people are just not maybe used to that kind of those kinds of topics being discussed. And I'm like, man, I just got on TikTok some months ago, and we've been rocking doing lives about LGBTQ and transgender individuals way before now. But I guess more and more people are starting to become aware, and that's great. But I'm also seeing how the larger population is responding to that knowledge. And it's very saddening to me. It makes me real sad, the kinds of things that I hear people say, the kinds of very hateful things that I hear people say. And what's even more hurtful is when I hear people that are in the Black community saying those things, because when they're saying it, they don't even realize that they're using the exact same verbiage as racist white people. Sounds the same. There's a lot of intersectionality, shared space with the Black community and the LGBTQ community, because there are Black people in the LGBTQ community, and the Black community and the LGBTQ community are marginalized, both marginalized. Yes, they have very different struggles, but the fact that they both share struggle is the commonality, and the fact that they both share being the minority is where they intersect. Now, and I say that because the when I bring it up on TikTok, they jump on me and they're like, "You can't compare slavery." Like, y'all, they are so theatrical over there on TikTok. They are so, like, I have never seen so much emotional dysregulation. I'm like, yeah, y'all need to all take a chill pill. Like, they be like on 10 all the time. So a lot of time I go up there only when I have to act, like when I just cannot, when like major misrepresentation of the community is being like spewed, like a lot of misinformation about the community, then I'm like, all right, but other than that, I just be hanging back watching, because they are toxic on that that clock app. They are toxic on there, and I'm like, whew, I can't be getting my pressure high. I can't, because they are just wild over there. But one of the things that they like to say is, oh, you can't compare the struggle of Black people with the struggle of the LGBTQ community. And yes, they are two different struggles. And that, yes, they are two different struggles. Being oppressed because of the color of your skin and being oppressed because of your sexuality or your gender identity they're two different things with two different struggles. Okay. But that does not make the struggle of the LGBTQ community any less of a struggle. It's just a different struggle. Okay. And it does actually intersect a lot more, but I realize people that have an aversion to the LGBTQ community, they're not going to read. They're not going to read. They're not going to Google nothing. They're not going to read nothing. They're just going to go based on their aversion and say, ick, 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 ick. And that's all I care about is ick, 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 ick. That's all they're going to do. And that's really sad. But I have to accept that some people just don't like to read books and they don't like to do research. And that blows my mind, because literally that's what my profession is, reading books and research. And that's how I learned, reading books and research. But I realized that some people don't care about that. They only want to go by how they feel. Okay. And so when you only go by how you feel, it makes you harmful, though. So for us, which we're different over here. We're not like how they do over there. I've been providing y'all with education for a very long time. So we're just going to continue on with the education that we've been doing before I got exposed to the toxic of the clock app. Okay. So yeah. Monday is actually Transgender Remembrance Day. And so I kind of wanted, and this week is actually Transgender Awareness Week. So I kind of wanted to do how we did last time when we talked about how to support your loved ones that may have experienced breast cancer, and how to support your loved ones who may be experiencing domestic violence. Kind of want to do that same thing of us looking at some stuff together and allowing y'all to be able to ask me some questions. But I did want to reiterate the basic information as it relates to transgender individuals, as Dana and I did. What was that? August or September, I think. Maybe it was August, when we talked more in depth about transgender and non-binary individuals. So definitely I want to reiterate some of those things, but please share. Remember, those of y'all that are in the community, I gave y'all a little special little thing, a little special little extra. So y'all want to be sure that y'all share, okay? Because I did give y'all a special little extra. I did that, okay? Actually, I'm on Instagram right now. I'm trying to decide, do I want to, I'm not going to, no. I should have charged my iPad, and then I could have gone live on more than just 2 platforms, but didn't do it. That's what I get. So we're going to move along. But like I said, basically, and I don't know, I thought about it because, again, I've been aware of transgender individuals for a long time. I don't even know when my first encounter was. I don't know if it was college or before, but a long time. So I say that to say it was never like my practice. I have always wanted to focus on the LGBTQ community, and I'm not transgender. I am a part of the community, but that I feel like it doesn't always mean just because you're in the community and you're another letter doesn't always mean that you support the other letters. And I have seen that a lot on the Clock app. You could be gay, lesbian, bisexual, and be saying some of the weirdest stuff about trans people. Or you could be, that it boggles my mind. Okay. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. It leaves me speechless and boggles my mind. Because I'm like, what? But like I said, it boggles my mind that any oppressed population could think that it's okay to oppress another population. But I think that just people aren't aware. Just like those of you that may not have a disability, you may not be aware of different supportive. We'll just say if someone is in a wheelchair, you might not think about wheelchair accessible places if you yourself are not in a wheelchair, because you can use the stairs, the elevator, the escalator, whatever you want to use without much thought. But people that are using wheelchairs, they have to think more about that because that's their life. It's the same thing with other marginalized populations. So if you're, for instance, if you're Black, you have to think about what does that mean to be Black, and how is being Black going to how is that going to impact your everyday life? But if you're white, you don't have to think about that because you don't have the same issues with your skin color being a barrier as people who are Black. So you might be like, oh, that doesn't exist. Well, just because you don't experience something doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, because none of us have the entire human experience under our own self. Some of us are Black, some of us are white, some of us have a disability, some of us don't have a disability. Some of us are men, some of us are women, some of us, there's so many different things that can impact your life that you're not aware of it if it's not your experience. But does that mean you should remain not aware of it? No. That's not what it means at all. In fact, because there are so many different types of people, it's very important to bring awareness to what types of people there are in the world so you can understand how to be respectful. Simply just be respectful, okay? No one's asking you to have a belief about anything, a different belief about anything. We're just asking that everybody be treated with equality, equity, respect, okay? And you can't do that if you're not aware of a person being there. Just like if you're walking and looking on your phone and you bump into somebody, you can't avoid bumping into them if you don't look up from your phone to see that they're there, okay? Does that make sense? You see what kind of direction I'm going in with that? So again, going back to transgender individuals, and again, I'm gonna reiterate it because I'm sure when I said it the first time, some people's eyes rolled in the back of their head because they just didn't understand what I was saying. So I'm gonna start from the bottom, work us up, okay? Again, bringing awareness to this population, and if at all you feel an ick as I'm talking, if you feel icky when I'm talking, then that might mean that let's we may need to set you up with one of our yellow bird therapists to kind of have a dialogue about that ick, okay? Especially if you are somebody that works with people, because chances are in your lifetime you will encounter someone who's trans. In fact, you may know somebody who is a transgender individual and just may not know that they're transgender, okay? I think what the cisgender population gets confused a lot is thinking that, for instance, a transgender woman is the same as a drag queen. No. In fact, most men that do drag, they identify as a man. They don't identify as a woman. They're just doing drag when they do drag because that's the form of entertainment that they enjoy doing. But they don't want to be a woman, okay? They don't identify as a woman. They don't think they're a woman. They know that they're a man that's performing in drag, okay? Same thing with drag kings. Not all drag kings identify as a man. They still identify as a woman, okay? So they're not the same thing. Drag and being transgender are not the same thing. So let's just go on ahead and start there. In fact, most of the transgender women that I have started following on TikTok, they rarely even wear makeup. They are like how I am now, okay? And they have a face like how I have, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't have to do anything but be themselves, like me. So sorry, y'all. I'm fumbling over with this phone. I don't think it's gonna. All right. Sorry, Instagram. I'll try to bob in and out at y'all. Okay. Be like, whoa, y'all see me? Okay. So let's start from the beginning. Again, gender and sex. What is on my candle, y'all. The candle soot. I was like, I thought something was wrong. But gender and sex are two different things. So let's start with what y'all probably are most familiar with, sex. Okay, sex is your genetic makeup. Okay, like how you were formed in the womb. That's what your sex is. So that's comprised of primary and secondary sex characteristics. I won't get into all of that, but that is for you because again, I got to keep this to an understanding level of different understanding levels. But for those of you that would want to further your understanding, look at the difference in primary and secondary sex characteristics. Okay, but a lot of times people think of chromosomes, okay? XX and XY. So we'll just say that even though no one really knows what we call karyotype is, and that's what their actual. We do have people that are born intersex, and they have a mixture of male and female sex characteristics. Okay. And we probably have more of those type of people than we're aware of, because they may physically present as either man or male or female. Okay. But when we're talking about sex, we use male and female to differentiate. Male, we'll just say, are born with male genitalia, and females are born with female genitalia. Okay, we'll just keep it simple. But that does not translate over into boy or man or girl or woman all the time. Just because you are born male or female, that does not mean that socially you will identify as aligned with that sex. So like I told y'all in the beginning, I am cisgender, which means that that's for those of you that took biology, organic chemistry, know that cis and trans are organic chemistry terms that were coined to describe how molecules may rotate, or elements of a molecule or a compound may rotate. So I'm going to use my hands. So I'm cisgender, a cisgender woman. So with that means that I have female genitalia, but I also identify my gender as woman. So female genitalia, socially I identify as woman, because our gender is how we present ourselves to the world. Okay, so I present myself to the world, and psychologically I align with being a woman. Okay. But that's not always the case. All right, there are women. I'm sorry. I have to fix my own words. Okay. And it's very important for me to fix my own words, because I need to help other people understand. So there are females that were born like me, but they do not identify as woman or girl. They identify as man, okay, or boy. And that's how their psychological makeup is. And a lot of y'all cisgender folks get confused right here. You're like, what? What? Yes. Your gender is developed in utero. And I've told y'all this before. Your gender developed in utero, and you become aware of what your gender is around the age that you probably become aware of what your genitalia is, and that's between the ages of 3 and 7. Okay. So kids as young as 3 and up to 7, and definitely after that, and 7's actually later, they know if they how they identify, and they know if the way that you have been socializing them to identify, if they feel like they align with that or not. Now, people are like, oh my God, LGBTQ, and I sexualize LGBTQ in my head, so I always think sex. No, we're talking about literal just identity. We're not talking about sexuality. Okay. Yes, sexuality comes later. It comes later. Okay. It doesn't come at 3 or 7 ordinarily, even though I knew all three at between 3 and 7, but I understand for people that could be a bit, so, sexuality could come later, especially as kids just learn what it is to be in a romantic relationship and all of that, as they get older and whatever's age appropriate for them. But no, that's not what it is. Let's take sex out of it. How about that? Let's take sex out of it. Let's just talk about identity without sex. Okay, wipe sex from your mind. And if your mind automatically goes to sex when you think about the LGBTQ community, you might need to let one of us help you unpack why you draw that parallel. Okay. But so sex essentially is how you're born. When I'm talking about sex, I'm not talking about the act. I'm talking about like your your genetics. Okay, I'm talking about genetics. I'm not talking about the act. And when I talk about gender, I'm talking about how you identify socially and psychologically. Okay. But gender and how you will identify socially and psychologically develops in your hypothalamus in utero. Okay. And then you become aware of it between the ages 3 and 7. Excuse me. And you may feel, and transgender individuals often report knowing that they felt like, for instance, something simple. My mom used to put on dresses, but I knew that didn't feel comfortable. And the way to kind of understand that is if you have a cisgender child, and you try to, put them in opposite gender clothing, they may not like that. Like a cisgender little girl may say, I don't want to wear these boy clothes, or a cisgender little boy may say, I don't want to wear these girl clothes, But transgender children and adults, they are going to dress how they would identify. And so they would know that I don't really feel comfortable wearing that, okay? Because that doesn't really fit with who I am, okay? So let me stop there real quick. See, do y'all have any questions? Because I know that could be a lot. Any questions at that point, or are we okay to keep going? Y'all tell me. We okay to keep going? Insta. We okay to keep going? All right. So, also, transgender individuals don't always transition either, okay? Meaning that they don't always undergo medical treatment to be able to develop more of an alignment between, who they were genetically born as, and then how they socially and psychologically identify as. Everybody doesn't choose to do that. Some people are just fine, how they are, even though they don't identify as what they were born as. But others, if they experience distress, okay, because their gender and their sex don't align, then they may undergo surgeries, or they may undergo hormone treatment, or they may begin to seek more aligning ways to dress, things of that nature. And that's okay. We when someone's experiencing distress, we call that gender dysphoria. If they're experiencing distress, with the disalignment of their sex and their gender. And cisgender people can also experience gender dysphoria. For instance, women that may naturally grow facial hair for whatever reason, they may have a genetic reason that makes them grow facial hair, they may experience gender dysphoria. Okay. Or maybe a man who may have a larger chest than most men, he may experience gender dysphoria, and that doesn't mean that they're transgender. Okay, cisgender people experience gender dysphoria for different reasons as well. All right, any questions? Oh, I do hope Artica come in here. I think me and Artica was in the same, we went to school together. You good. It's okay. Better late than never. Y'all please share this out. Share it in your groups. Share it on your timelines. Share it. If you'll click the share and click the more options, if you'll share it like in a text to someone, text it to someone or DM it to someone, that would be great. Yeah. So, any questions? I know we're getting kind of more into the nitty gritty of where most cisgender people might start like, ooh, what? Ooh, ooh. What does that mean? What does that mean? Yeah. So, yeah. But transgender individuals make up about 1% of the population in the US and about 5% of the world's population. So a very, very small group. A very, very, very small group. But any person, even if it was just one person, they matter, okay? But I say that for cisgender people because they're like, oh no, like what if my child, there's a 1% chance, okay, that your child may identify, all right? And a 99% chance that they'll probably identify as their assigned sex at birth, okay? All right. But it's okay. It's okay. Because again, it's not anything anybody did wrong. It's not anything that it's literally it's just like you can't control what your child's features are in utero necessarily. I know there's technologies, but in general, people can't control how their child is going to develop and who they're going to develop into. They can just do their part, but genetically, you can't control how your child develops and how their brain development is impacted. There is old research that says that, and this is only for assigned male at birth individuals. There is some old research that implies that at some point in utero, the mother released during a hormone washing, we all go through a hormone washing, that there was maybe an elevated hormone that may have influenced the hypothalamus development, thus the gender, transgender identity. But not much new research. We do just know that currently, and there's actually, I think, a new transgender individual study is either coming out or came out last month. But it's not really like, it's more of like studying, from what I understood, it was more of studying the like categorizing demographics and things of that nature. Not necessarily like the hormone washing part of it, but it's more of like, now what's the experience, not the in utero experience. Yeah. Yeah, what's the question? What's the question? So if you identify as woman, but you feel more comfy dressing mass, yeah, that doesn't make you transgender. If you still identify, like, I know guys that dress that wear makeup, and which makeup, if y'all really do the research, didn't start with women anyway. It did start with men, but today, in today's world, I know men that like to dress more feminine, but they still identify as a man. Okay, so it's not just the dress, it has to be the entirety of, there's no alignment with your assigned sex at birth. Like, it doesn't align. But sometimes I be feeling like I want to throw a fitted on and a beater, and some like, sometimes I be feeling like that, but I very much identify as a woman. Okay, even if I feel like I want to dress a little more mass presenting, which is rare because I'm actually more feminine than I'm more outwardly feminine. I'll say that I'm more outwardly feminine. More as far as personality, though. I feel like it can be a little bit more mass sometimes. So, but I still do identify as woman. Does it mean non-binary? It doesn't have to mean non-binary. Again, I don't necessarily identify as non-binary. I've thought about it more as I've become more familiar with the definition of non-binary, but like, it doesn't have to be. We have to understand that with sexuality and gender and those concepts, they're all spectrum. Okay? It's a spectrum. So you could be here, you could be here, or you could be anywhere in between. Okay? So it doesn't necessarily mean that. But if you don't, so you may not identify with your assigned sex at birth, but you may, or only some, okay? In the Trevor Project, for those of you that want to look more into these definitions, the Trevor Project, if you go there, that's a great resource for education on LGBTQ, more specifically trans and binary, non-binary definitions. So yeah, but that's a good question. What about if a little kid says they are bi? Do they really mean non-binary? Or, I mean, that's hard to say. It's hard. Okay, so it's hard to say. So let me throw this in there. I missed this since we're getting more into like the kid discussion. In order for a kid to really be experiencing gender dysphoria, they have to be consistent with it for at least 6 months, persistent with it, and insistent with it. They have to be consistent about, I'm not this, I'm this, I'm not this, I'm this, I'm not this, I'm this, for at least 6 months. They have to be persistent, like, no, mom, dad, I don't want to look like this or that. Okay. And insistent. Yes, mom and dad, I am this or that. So there has to be those three components. Does that help? Does that help you guys? Let me know. Because I hear a lot of people say, well, what if they just wake up? It's not a what if they just wake up one day situation. It's not that. It's not I'm just gonna wake up one day and say that I'm this. It's an insistence, it's a consistence, and it's a persistence. A little parched. Okay. Does that help? Good. You're welcome. You're welcome. But yeah, as far as I would say for me personally, as far as the non-binary discussion, this is just for me. Okay. This is not non-binary people. I'm not going to put that on non-binary people, but me, I could see identifying as non-binary because I don't necessarily subscribe to gender norms. Like, oh, only girls cook and clean and play with Barbies, and only boys work in the yard and play with Tonka trucks. Like, I like Tonka trucks. You know what I'm saying? I liked playing with basketball cards with my boy cousin, but I also like putting on makeup with my girl cousin. You know, I didn't necessarily subscribe to a gender norm, but generally, I'll say this, and this is just me. This is not all non-binary people. I feel comfortable identifying as she, her. Okay, I feel comfortable identifying as she, her. She, they may feel a little bit more comfortable. And I don't mind. I wouldn't mind she, they. So I feel like, I kind of, but that's not all people. We used to use the old word, the throwback word, tomboy. It could just be females who identify as girl or woman, and they still have a little tomboy. They can still be tomboy. And that doesn't mean that they're non-binary. So it's a spectrum. There's different things and components to consider. And that's why I say definitely go to the Trevor Project and look up more of these definitions so you can gather more understanding for reading it for yourself. Because everybody's experience is different. Yeah, these are good questions though. I don't know what my comments are pasted. Oh no, you're good. I only see it once. Yeah, tomboyish. There's nothing wrong with that. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you're non-binary. It could just mean you're more tomboyish, It could just be that. But with transgender individuals, they have been consistent, persistent, and insistent for 6 months or more. And if the distress is so much that they, start developing like mental health concerns such as anxiety and depression, then we want to start looking into medical gender affirming care, such as HRT, hormone replacement therapy, which cisgender people also take hormone replacement therapy if they need it. Just normalizing this. It's not just transgender individuals that take HRT. Sometimes women have to take HRT to balance out their hormones, especially if there's pituitary gland regulation necessity. Okay? So, just saying. What's the question? I like remote controlled cars. I will buy a toy car or truck before I buy a baby doll for my. Yeah, see, but that doesn't necessarily mean that your girls identify as boys, and that doesn't mean that they're non-binary. It just means you don't subscribe to that, because y'all have to understand gender is more of a social construct. Yes, it's psychological, and that is valid, but the social construct side of it is what I don't really subscribe to, because I don't think there's boy and girl toys necessarily. You know what I'm saying? Or boy and girl clothes. I think that's made up by society. That part of just that part. Okay, I have to be very, very clear. Just the dress and toys part. The rest of it, no, it's psychological and or genetic. But the toys and boys work and girls stay in the home, those type of things, I don't really subscribe to that part of that. Trying to think. So yeah, what other kinds of questions do y'all have? What kinds of questions? I want it to be very rudimentary, because I feel like a lot of what happens on TikTok is they're very intelligent people on there, and they talk over, like they talk, the way that the information they give is over a lot of people's heads. It's over a lot of people's heads. They don't really take into consideration differing levels of understanding. Sometimes they only just talk specifically like medical jargon sometimes, or just jargon that may not be digestible by lay people or people that don't have that experience. What what does that say? And how it affects identity? Huh? What that mean? What you saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't miss anything. So yeah, so when we talk about things, because when the transgender bathroom bill first came out, we talked a lot about that. Listen, I don't care what your genitalia looks like. I don't want nobody seeing my genitalia, whether you, well, I don't, okay. In a public bathroom, I don't want my genitalia exposed, okay, to anybody, whether their genitalia looks like mine or not. So that's why there's stalls with doors on them, okay? And so people are like, well, I don't really want somebody going in. Most transgender people, and I'm not saying they're all good, but most transgender people are not thinking about nothing but going in there and using the bathroom, washing their hands, and coming out. Okay? There are weirdos that are cisgender. There are weirdos that are transgender, but that's not the reason that they're weird. They're weird because that's the type of person that they are, whether they're cis or trans, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But the thing where women date men and have kids, even though they don't even like men. Denial? Denial? Identity crisis? I don't know. Women date men and have kids, even though they don't like. Let me see. Did you put it in a chat GPT? Let me see. Chat GPT. Let's see. Let me look it up. I'm gonna use Google because it'd be free. Let me see. Who don't have? I don't see anything coming up. What's coming up is more fertility related things that I'm seeing. If I type that in. What? Let's see. Oh. Compulsory. I've never heard of that. Let me look. The word sounds let's see. Compulsory hetero. Okay, here it is. What does the term compulsory heterosexuality come from? Compulsory heterosexuality comes from an essay by Adrienne Rich in 1980. In her essay titled Compulsory Heterosexuality and Lesbian Existence. I don't know why I said lesbian like that. Rich explains how women have been conditioned to have a preference for men, okay, and that they are socialized to want to be heterosexual. Yeah, that's actually kind of common. That's real common. Ooh, Urban Dictionary, I found it though. That's common. I know a lot of lesbians who got kids and was married to men, and they it's just, again, that social construct of gender has us indoctrinated. The construct of patriarchy says man with woman, woman make baby, and we all know patriarchy is a shit construct. A colonial minded shit construct, okay? Because everybody doesn't fall into the patriarchal, everybody doesn't align with patriarchy. Okay? How do I think it affects gender? I don't know that it does affect gender identity. It sounds I just read that little bit that I read out loud. But from what I could read, it's more of a sexuality thing. It's not really a gender identity thing. It's more sexuality. We got to remember sex, gender, gender identity, and sexuality are different. They're different. They all kind of reside in the same place, around in the same place in the hypothalamus, but different parts of the hypothalamus. Because I just gave my example. I'm a lesbian woman, but I'm a cisgender lesbian woman. That means that I identify with my assigned sex at birth, and one doesn't impact the other. My gender identity and my sexual identity don't have anything to do with each other. That's a good question, though. Yeah, that's cool. I'm gonna look more into that. But yeah, that's real common. It's a common thing. And I said that anecdotally. I know a lot. And it'd be confusing to me. It's confusing to me because I could never, don't y'all get it twisted. I might like women, but a lot of men be coming for your girl. And I just never, I was like, I can't waste this man's time or this boy, whatever. I can't waste their time because I know I'm not really clicking with them. And it's not nothing wrong with them. It's just, I didn't feel it. It wasn't clicking. It wasn't sparking. It wasn't, the attraction just wasn't there, and I just felt like I'd be wasting both our times to try to make myself marry a man when I knew I didn't want one, So I'm going to have to look more into it, but I definitely have seen it for myself. Well, my experience is that I liked the attention, but not the man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the thing. But I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad, But some women, that was their path. That was their path, and and they're having to figure that out. But I'm gonna do some more on that. But it is a concept that I've seen personified. Um, but it doesn't necessarily, I don't think it necessarily affects their gender identity. Yeah. So what else? So I just want you on Transgender Remembrance Day, which is Monday. I do want y'all to be aware of that. So I want to talk a little bit about that. I thought I had it pulled up. Transgender Day of Remembrance. I was saying the words out of order. All right. Okay. Transgender Day of Remembrance is an annual observation on November 20th that honors the memory of the transgender people whose lives were lost in acts of anti-transgender violence. Because transgender, there is actual like trying to wipe out the transgender population, and so there are a lot of acts of violence against transgender people. So just being aware, and I would say look up, if you could look up at least the name and a picture of at least one transgender individual who lost their life in 2022 or 2023. Just to observe the day, and just give them a moment of silence. Something simple. It doesn't have to be anything big. If you could just Google, a transgender person, like names of transgender individuals who lost their lives to violence, and lay your eyes on their face, if there's a picture of them, and give them a couple minutes of silence. That's all I ask, okay? Just to observe them. Because because of people's ignorance, violence comes a lot from that. And because of people's own insecurities and misunderstandings of their self sometimes, and I'm talking to the cisgender people, not the transgender people, it causes them to act out violently against other folks. And you can read more about the Transgender Day of Remembrance at glaad.org/TDOR. That stands for Transgender Day of Remembrance. So yeah, you can, and so you can, and find out how you can support. I'm going to share the website so y'all can see it, because I know I said all of the letters. It was a lot of letters. So here we go. GLADD. Here you go. Even if you're able, light a candle. That would be great. I might do that next year on the live. And maybe like, I don't know, I might do something like that with the candles. Started in 1999. It's a relatively new observation. But it also tells you how you could get involved. So definitely, at least for Transgender Day of Awareness, if you could at least take a look at this website. How about that? You don't even, before you Google the name, take a look at this website. If you'll just take a look at this page, just to observe, start there and see where it takes you personally, okay? I still do like the name idea and just give them a couple minutes of silence, but this may be even better, just a place to start, okay? So if you'll do me that favor and give me like 2 minutes and look over that for yourself, I would just ask that as somebody who likes to advocate and who works with transgender individuals in my own practice. Trevor Project needs volunteers. Okay, go look and see. Have you seen the movie or show Secret Society on Tubi? I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. I have heard of it. I've heard of it. I know the general premise of it, but I don't have no Tubi subscription, but I've heard of it. I can't really give you an opinion because I know, like, again, very generally what it's about. But yeah, I have heard of the Secret Society. Yeah. But yeah, look at the glaad.org website and look, just give it a quick little read. That's all you gotta do. It doesn't gotta be nothing big, and just see where your heart takes you as far as if you want to do any further observation outside of that. But yeah, do y'all have any other questions for me? I wanted to keep it short and simple and digestible because I feel like people will hang on to easier information if it's more concise and something that they feel like they can digest a little easier than knowing every single thing. There's way more than that. I just shared the basics. Yes, you're more welcome. You're most welcome. You are most welcome. Yeah. You said hear about it a lot. In Atlanta. I call Atlanta gay mecca, but not really because Houston is coming for Atlanta with that because Houston is really got, a pretty strong gay community there. Houston, and I want to say maybe Dallas, but I definitely know Houston. I know that personally from seeing it myself and being there in Houston myself. But yeah. Yeah. Oh, y'all got any other questions? Y'all got other questions, comments, concerns? I felt like that was good. Again, take a look at the Trevor Project, like I had said, and then take a look at the glaad.org. All right. Now, if you know, you know. Nobody even much except for Malika. even much did the thing. Oh, wait. Sharon Christie. Okay. So, yep. If you know, you know. Thank you, Sharon. I'm glad. Toya, I'm glad. If you know, you know. I made an offer for the Cash App giveaway. Y'all can't even see my shirt. You know, this is the yellow version of the I Don't Care shirt. It's my favorite yellow bird shirt. Because as an anxious person, that was my mantra I had to say to help myself become less anxious. Like, I just can't care about what other people think, especially if they don't pay my bills. You don't pay my bills, I can't care about that. You know, I can't care about what you think about what I do. Let me say it like that. That doesn't mean I don't care about people. Like, yes, I care, you know, but if what I do only affects me, I don't care what you think about it because you don't pay my bills. Now, if you want to pay my bills, then I can care a little more. You can pay for my care, you know? Yeah. All right. So let's see what we got. Let me get my, y'all know I never have my stuff like I'm supposed to. My pen and my paper. Mr. Carter. Hey, brother. Hey, man. He was just relaxing. Just listening. And Mr. Carter really got my views up. He had got my views up on TikTok on my first live. When I had him in the screen, the views kept going up. When I put him down, the views was not. Brother, say hi to him. Say hi to the people. Say hi, man. Say hi. No, don't be like that. Say hi, buddy. Oh, I'm a sweet dog. I'm sweet. They saying hi to you, Mr. Carter. Now he just casually gave me a little kiss on the nose. Oh, him a sweet baby. You want to help me count these people or what? You think you want to do that? You don't? I woke you up. Well, you were chilling. You was chilling there, weren't you? Go on, buddy. Go on, man. All right. Yep, grab my handy dandy notebook. Exactly. Blues Clues, Blues Clues. Go. I was learning how to do, because Blues Clues was out when I was a little kid. I was learning how to draw stuff from Blues Clues. You know, they had it like, how they would draw it real easy. Wow, that's a flower pot, you know? It was a little like stick. It was like some very the illustration was great. I don't know. Steve was doing some great illustration. Yeah. So all right. If you know, you know. And if you don't, you want to text the word live. I'm gonna get it. Get it. Let me see. Oh no, I can't find it. Hold on. All right, but you can text the word new or take a screenshot right now if you know somebody who needs therapy. I had to be quiet in case the captions covered it up. Take a screenshot, tell them to text the word new if they need therapy. But if you want to not miss it the next time, the Cash App giveaway, then you need to text the word live to that number. Text the word live. Okay? It did look easy. I was like, and I was definitely drawing along. I was like, okay. You know. All right. So I'm going to say your name and your number twice. Y'all know how this goes. Say your name and your number twice. So keep your ears open, please, because I'm going to say your name and your number 2 times. Unless for some reason I mess up saying something, I'll say it a 3rd time. So let me start. Punky Brewster, number 1. Punky Brewster, number 1. Malika Cole, number 2. Malika Cole, number 2. Sharon Gray, number 3. Sharon Gray, number 3. Christy Davis, number 4. Christy Davis, number 4. Toya Betts, number 5. Toya Betts, number 5. Magnolia Marchant, number 6. Magnolia Marchant, number 6. Kay Candles, number 7. Kay Candles, number 7. Danielle Robinson, number 8. Danielle Robinson, number 8. Chloe Love, number 9. Chloe Love, number 9. Cool. It look like everybody. Okay, that's going to make it simple. Y'all got y'all numbers, right? All right, let me pull up. I got a tab already pulled up. Let's just use the tab we already got pulled up. Let me pull up the GLADD, the GLAD website. Is it GLAD? I don't know if there's a L. No, yeah, wait, yeah. There is GLADD, GLAD. All right. So y'all can see that again. We're going to go to random number generator. It's going to show up on here. Why does Yahoo come up? Is that doing that on y'all's too? When you Google something, the Yahoo search engine comes up? Is Yahoo trying to make its comeback? I mean, if it is, cool, but what's up? Let's see. We want to go to the random. We might have to retype it. Random number wheel generator. Okay. How many I got? 9. This is a new one. We haven't even used this one, but since it's a tiny one. All right, y'all ready? Wait, am I sharing? Nope. This is a different one. All right, I just put 9 in there. All right. Let's see. Can y'all see it? Let me be sure. All right. Cool. Y'all ready to spin? Drum roll, please. Man, it don't have no what you call it? No sounds. We're not using that one again. It says the winner is, because it looked like a 9. The winner is actually 6, though. Y'all see that? The winner is 6. That was very anticlimactic. As far as there was no confetti or nothing. We're not using that one again, guys. Yay, number 6. See, I got to do it. Yay, who's number 6? Magnolia. Wow. Yay. Yay, Magnolia. Did you bring any friends? Did you bring any friends, and are they here? Did you bring any friends, Magnolia? Yay! I'm trying to see if you bought any friends. I tried, but no, it's okay. You still get $150. Okay. Mr. Carter's like, yay. He's like, congratulations. Congratulations. You saying congratulations, brother? Is that what I'm saying? Him is. I'm saying that. Because I'm sweet. Aw. Let's see if I can find. I feel like you won before. Yep, there you go. Congratulations from Yellowbird Counseling. I gave away $100 last night on TikTok. So if y'all follow me on there, you can double your chances to win stuff because I go live on TikTok too. Yay! All right, I'm sending it. So y'all can know. Uh-oh. There you go. Congratulations. Wait, what? Wait, what? You got it. Yay. You're welcome. My TikTok is that. So THAT, that _therapist 1. My TikTok is that _therapist 1. When do you go live on TikTok? You know, I just got my live access for TikTok last night. So it's not really like a time yet. You kind of just got to follow me and then just go where it takes you. Because I don't have an established thing. Yep, that's it. That's what it is. What Punky Brewster typed in the comments. That's my name on TikTok. Okay. Cool. All right, y'all. Well, like I said, I probably do another live this weekend because I do want to focus. I didn't want to overlook Transgender Awareness Week or Transgender Day of Remembrance. I did want to get y'all put on about that. But I do plan to go live again about like how to deal with like holiday mental health concerns and stuff. Come here, brother. Now I want to play. I'm a playful cool guy. He just is. You want to say bye? Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye, everybody. Okay, there. All right. I will see y'all soon. Y'all have a good night.